Happy New Year, guys. I know January is almost over and New Year's is pretty good ways behind us already, but this is the first video that we're creating for the new year. If any of y'all are following me on Instagram or Facebook, you've probably seen little glimpses of this saddle throughout the process. And we haven't posted final photography of it yet, but we're going to be taking pictures of that this weekend and getting that done. The conchos on these were done by our friend Scott Summerlot in Brenham, Texas, and he does a lot of silversmithing, gun engraving, and knives and different things like that. And he also does some conchos whenever we request them. And so we were real happy to work with Scott again. We've worked on many saddles with him, and he did a great job on these conchos. This saddle in particular is a team roping saddle, what we would call our standard team roping saddle. It has an Olin Young tree, or what they call an OY tree in it, with leg cuts. The gullet height on this saddle is a 7 1/4 gullet height and a 6 1/2 gullet. And then as far as the cantle height, it's a 3 1/2, and the seat size is a 14 1/2 inch seat. This is pretty standard for us as far as the trees that we build on predominantly is going to be this. When we get into cowboy saddles, we'll still utilize the Olin Young tree, the OY tree. So the customer that requested this saddle wanted to do a fully tooled saddle and something really different. And so we opted to do a two-tone dye job on this. And so if you follow us on Instagram, you see that we two-tone a lot of products as far as mainly belts and wallets and a lot of bags and stuff. We'll do a two-tone job where the base color is a lot darker than the tooling, and that just really makes the tooling stand out a lot and really be seen well from a distance. And so it really accentuates the detail of it. And on a fully tooled saddle like this, we haven't ever done a two-tone on that, and I thought it would be really neat, and we're really happy with how it turned out. We did an inlaid seat in here. Now, I've had people on social media ask me what kind of padding that we use in our inlays. I don't use any padding in our inlaid seats. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just personally prefer all of my saddles to ride as close to a hard seat as possible. So even when we do a padded seat, like a full padded seat, we'll only use about a 1/4 inch foam on there. And then we try, if the customer will let us, we'll do a full stitch pattern in there, and that'll pull that foam down nice and firm, and that way you don't get a lot of that plush feel. If the ground seat's done right and the saddle rides right, we don't really want any kind of padding in there, nor do we need it. Saddle should set comfortably without padding. And so on our inlays, we don't do any kind of padding. That's just the plug. We cut the hole out or the plug out, and then we overlay that with just another piece of tooled leather, and that allows us to tool this. So this saddle here will ride just like a hard seat for its lifetime. So it makes it really good to where they can get a little something different, but it doesn't change the way the saddle feels. If a guy's used to a hard seat, and most people prefer that, then they can go this route and it won't change the way the saddle rides for them. So I've had a lot of people ask me on a saddle like this, how many hours do we have in it? I don't keep up with hours usually. I probably should do a better job of that, and since we've started this channel, I've been a little more mindful of certain projects and how long they take and that kind of thing. I start out every saddle thinking I'm going to track my time on it, and I never really do. I need to get better about it, but as far as I would guesstimate these is at least of one, especially like this with a two-tone job, we've got at least 120 hours into this saddle. And so I usually peg a full rough out or a full slick out saddle as 40 to 50 hours, somewhere in there. You can usually build one in 5 to 7 days, depending on the length of your work day. And on something like this, it's going to take at least twice that, if not more. And this one's probably got a little bit more than that in there. But I just wanted to give you a quick rundown on that. I know on this channel I don't share a ton of videos on saddle making. We hope to do more of those in the future, you know, as far as getting more in depth into the saddle building. But I know the majority of you guys that are following us on YouTube or social media probably aren't building saddles full time, or may have aspirations to build a saddle, but that's kind of like the pinnacle when you get to that point, that every piece of leather work, every aspect of leather work, from upholstery to boot making, tooling, pattern fitting, everything involved in the whole craft of leather work is involved in building a saddle. And so I usually suggest to people, if you're getting into leather work and just getting started, don't pick a saddle as your first thing, just because there's so many skills that you need to be proficient at before you start getting into this. I mean, each one of these saddles that we build, we've got $1,000 worth of material in there, between the tree, leather, hardware, nails, glue, all that stuff. You can figure on about $1,000, and that's a lot of money to invest in something and potentially not have a quality outcome when you're done, just because based on skill level or messing up leather or something like that. So you want to be pretty proficient in just making a pattern or creating a pattern to fit a certain thing, like a knife or a gun holster. Those are great projects to get you started into getting used to saying, here's an object and I want to make a leather cover for this, or I want to make a leather adaptation for this. How do I do that? And those are great skills that'll come into use whenever you are building a saddle. But I just wanted to kind of go over that and just kind of show you some of the saddles that we do build, because I know on here we usually don't show a lot of that, and so this is one that we're pretty proud of. We've got a lot of time invested in it, and we're really happy with the outcome, and hopefully the customer will be able to hand it down to his great grandkids someday, and it should last a lifetime. As far as the channel goes, this year we've got a lot of stuff planned: project videos, collaboration videos, being more consistent and having more and more content available to you. As you grow in your skill set, so will the projects grow, and there'll be something for everybody. So whether you're coming in just a beginner leather worker, there's going to be continuing education in there on that, as well as if you're more of an upper level leather craftsman, we want to hit some of those projects as well. So not all the videos that we'll create this year will be for entry level or for master level, so to speak, but there will be some of everything in there, and that way we can go from there. We're also going to try to expand on some of the academy courses, and we've got a few ideas on a couple of the next classes that we'll offer through that, and I think you're going to really enjoy those. So we're really looking forward to 2020, and glad to have you a part of this channel. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that. And if you haven't signed up for the LeatherCraft newsletter yet, be sure and go to dgsaddlery.com and sign up for that. That's just a good way of us staying in contact with you. If you have signed up for that, say in November, and you haven't seen anything, that doesn't mean you're not signed up. I just don't send out a newsletter if we don't really have anything to, if nothing's changed or I don't have anything new to tell you. I'm not going to bug you and send you an email every week. Sometimes we send them more often, and other times we may not send one for a month or so. My policy is if I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to send you anything. There's no reason. I get enough emails, I'm sure everybody does, and so we're not going to just send you frivolous stuff just to send you stuff or whatever. So we try to keep it to once a month. Sometimes we may go twice, maybe 3 if we've got something big going on, but usually it's only once a month or once every other month. But be sure and sign up for that. It's real easy. There's a form on our website. You can put your email address in and sign up for that. Thank y'all very much. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you know somebody that would enjoy the channel, share that with them and send them our way. Thank y'all very much.